publicly experimented with trance techniques. She publicly experimented with trance techniques and led an exotic and bohemian life as an artist.
This glass lies a century of terror, an evil force awaiting her deadly command.
The mirror is using.
Ghosts do not exist.
Megan, your father's dead. Dead people never come back.
I'm not taking. She's black.
I'm bleeding. Are you trying to say that you had something to do with this? Well, let's just say that you and me are innocent. What was all that racket? Help me!
In this old house, behind this locked door, something lives, something strange, something evil.
Stay away from that door!
It will possess this woman. It will destroy this man. It will terrify this child.
Help me!
And no one can stop it. Burnt Offerings, starring Karen Black, Oliver Reed, Betty Davis, Burgess Meredith, and Eileen Heckard. Behind this door lies a horror beyond imagination. Who is it? Where did it come from? What does it want? When you find out, it will be too late. Burnt Offerings.
Remember,
rated PG.
the offerings should be burnt. Welcome back to the Drive-In Asylum double feature for the infamous third segment. Sam.
Next week, two great movies. Karen Black was the answer, in case you're wondering. Who is the person? Karen Black is the answer. Mirror, Mirror, and Burnt Offerings the next week. We're off for the drive-in the week after that, and for the week after that, late night movie. And we'll be joined by Austin Trunick from the Canon Film Guide. So I'm going to say it's 99% sure we're going to watch a Canon movie. But come on in. It's going to be at 11. Super excited for the next couple weeks, Bill. Especially next week. I love Karen Black. I love Mirror, Mirror. I'm a huge fan of this movie. I have a lot to say about it. So super excited to watch it.
That was selected by our guest hosts, Coma White and Justin Lockwood.
Yeah.
They'll be joining us. They do a fantastic horror trivia night in a bar in New York City. And, their social media pages, Matt D was there with the Forbidden Planet gang, the Visual Vengeance gang, I should say.
Yeah.
And don't forget to go pick up Replicator out from Visual Vengeance, the brand new release of The Abomination. Just amazing material out there right now.
And then next month, Lichen Colony, which has commentary from us, and I wrote the liner notes for it. So I'm super excited. I'm really excited for people to see Lichen. I always say Colony. It's Colony. I always say Colony. But I'm super excited for people to see it. It's a really fun movie. It gets super wild. I'm also super excited for people to see Mirror, Mirror, which I, like, again, as I said, I love that movie. So, but man, how about Rabid, huh? The movie flies.
I know. It just, once big things start popping off, there's no stopping it.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. How about
Did you? I mean, like, are
Oh, I
you
love
really
it.
as
No,
into
I
it as
really do
I
love
am?
it. I was gonna say I didn't say it before, but my favorite part is the end because that mall seems so antiseptic for the season, and Santa just there, and all of a sudden, all hell breaking loose inside the mall. Super jazz.
Yeah,
Bill
it
gets to
could
join me.
happen.
Andy the cat loves Rabid. Hello, everybody. It was
Oh,
wonderful.
Andy.
It was wonderful.
What was your favorite part, Andy?
Um, Motorcycle crashes are good, and I like when the cow got killed. That was pretty rad. Good boy. Good night.
Good night, Andy.
Andy is
That part with the
convalescent.
cow is the whole thing is so disturbing,
Yeah,
especially when you finally get a glimpse of this armpit phallus that she has developed while she was in this experimental medical coma, getting skin grafts. I mean, they did all this stuff to her without her consent.
yeah.
I mean, I know that
I
they
like
were
that they're
supposed to
like they
be.
even called the hospital like, look, we're her own. She would have died, or she could have got this surgery. You know.
Yeah,
And also, I love the science of it where they discuss um what how they're doing it, and like there's like a couple medical jargony kind of lines, and you can kind of tell they're just like, let's just throw in some terms here about skin grafts and all the
yeah.
different stuff, and it's like, oh yeah,
It's unpredictable. You never know who the next victim is going to be. Even in the diner, you
yeah.
think he's going to bite the guy that tried to beat him up, and then all of a sudden he just grabs the waitress and bites the shit out of her. Oh,
Also,
poor
I
girl.
when she's in the adult theater, and especially when she's walking in the cold air,
Hmm.
there are scenes in this where Marilyn Chambers is gorgeous, and you can kind of see why people are easily destroyed by her, which is pretty cool. But also, she's just a means to an end by the end of the movie. You know what I mean? Like she's just a plague carrier. It's you know,
Yeah, that's the most devastating thing about that movie to me is the ending, of course, because I don't know, throughout it's hard to view it objectively now that I've seen it so many times,
yeah,
but I mean, she really is very sympathetic in the film, even though she seems kind of spacey and she's like not connected to reality sometimes. Like she really is very sympathetic, and you want her to be okay. You want her to come out of this
but I
all
think
right.
also it's like she's probably after the accident. There's not anything left. Like once they do the surgery, she's not her anymore. It's like almost like how when people are taken over
Yeah,
by the crazies, or I love that you called out. Like there's a line about the crazies.
he's like that shot's not going to protect you against the crazies,
Yeah,
the ones from Evan City,
yeah.
codename Trixie.
Codename Trixie, my favorite.
So yeah, that scene in the mall was brutal with the passerby and the Santa Claus getting shot. Did one of the kids get shot? It seemed that
Oh
way
yeah,
almost.
everybody. It caught everybody.
She was right there though, but they only showed Santa dead.
I mean, that's the image that you want to walk away from there, right? You want to be like, oh fuck, yeah.
That scene,
The Crazies is an ultimately upsetting movie for me as well because I mean we drove through Evan City to go to church, like that's where our church was as a kid, right? That we would go to,
yeah,
and like you would drive through there and you would go past all the stuff in the movie, and it's like at any time whenever you think about the movie, it just happened out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And it's like it could happen. Like we could be bombed off the face of the earth by our own government and not have anything to do with it. So as a kid, the codename Trixie was very frightening to me.
the scissors scene. Yeah, there were some brutal things that happened in this movie, and I love how creative Cronenberg's shots are in this movie. It's a little more visually exciting than They Came From Within, I have to admit. There's a couple of really great shots, like
The
there's
motorcycle
some.
shots are really good in the beginning. How tight he is on the pieces of the motorcycle while it's in motion.
I love the part where she's running down the hallway in the clinic. That's one of my favorite shots in the whole film. It's just like everyone's running in one direction and she comes running in the opposite direction. And she goes into what we presume are Judy Glassberg's things. She goes into her closet and picks out some clothes for her to escape in, and then she blows the place.
The other thing I
So,
really like is the various things wrong with the other members of the clinic. There's that guy with the jogging shirt, the jogging kill shirt, and his head's all wrapped up. We have the woman that takes all the time on her hands, um, and with the gloves and everything. There's just like some really interesting. You can tell that's like this. These are people that are kind of, especially because it's so far out of the city. These are people that maybe have been through some real hardships because you know whatever has happened to their face. That they need the surgery. This isn't. They're not there for facelifts, and they're there for the kind of plastic surgery that's going to allow them to be in public again. You know what I mean?
well, I got the opposite impression
Oh,
in this
really?
movie. Like, I thought everybody in that clinic was rich because we were talking about, like, how could they go away? Like, this concept of this uh, surgery clinic was that you would just go stay there like a resort, but while you were there, you would be having plastic surgery. And
Maybe
it had been,
I kind of get the feeling that they had some major things wrong with them. That's why they were able to get this new
well,
surgical thing.
that's what Murray was doing, their business agent. Like, they were talking about opening a franchise of these
Uh,
clinics all over the place where rich people could go and just sort of drop out of society for a
oh,
while.
maybe okay.
Because
I
there
will.
was sort of like a there was sort of like an implication that back then that you weren't supposed to tell people that you had plastic surgery, that it
Mm,
was embarrassing to admit that you did that. And that was what the concept of this clinic would have been. Like, you would have just disappeared from society. And we were talking about it because I was like, who could afford to just stay there for an entire month? And then you were like, oh, rich people, they have money.
that makes
So,
sense. That probably makes more sense in my theory. So I will give it to you.
well, no, I mean, it's not that your theory is wrong. I just didn't notice anybody, but they were prepared for that kind of thing because they had this
They had an
emergency
ambulance that
situation.
had a
Yeah.
siren. You know what I mean? They had a lot.
Yeah, why would they need an ambulance? I don't know. I don't understand that
I
part.
guess maybe if someone had a negative reaction to the surgery and but they were
Possibly.
still so far away from, you know what I mean? From,
Yeah, he said that the closest hospital was 3 hours away.
yeah.
So what was the ambulance for? I guess for a 3-hour ambulance ride.
Also, it's like if this new surgery isn't proven yet, they're a little early at franchising it. Like, isn't there like some kind of system in Canada, like, like we would, speaking as someone that works in the medical field and has to do
Yeah.
medical stuff all the time and get stuff approved. You know what I mean? Like it felt like there would be, things have to go through the FDA and they have to go through
Well,
different
I
groups to approve.
I think that the magic plastic surgery that they were doing and the franchise concept were separate. He was just
Oh,
sort of
okay.
like a game changer in the plastic surgery field. I
Okay.
think that's what they were setting up, and that he had this. And of course, they had to explain why Marilyn Chambers would grow a blood sucking penis in her armpit. So they're like, oh, yeah, he's into plastic surgery. And
It's
he's,
my cousin actually does anesthetic plastic surgery, and it's some of I did her logo and some of her social media for her, and I'm like, please
yeah.
don't make me watch these videos anymore. They're the most upsetting videos. She does a lot of
Oh,
obviously shots in the face and stuff like that, and it's just like, yeah, I don't ever want to see this.
poor Judy Glassberg.
Yeah.
You were talking about the story of each of these people. Hers was the weirdest because she admitted that the reason she was having her nose done for like the third time was because her dad thought it was too much like his nose.
Jeez.
Like, who would say that to their daughter? And then, of course, she's in therapy and she's reading a book about Freud,
It's
the
funny because
neurotic.
like they're all in the midst, like you said, our Marilyn Chambers just enters into this world. How's she gonna pay for this? Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
how's
Well,
she
it's
getting?
Canada.
Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah. Sorry.
She doesn't have to pay for it.
Yeah. That's cool. our neighbors to the north maybe not having to deal with the stuff we do.
But she paid a price for it too.
Yeah.
She got some unintended consequences. Maybe it was a comment about that.
Do you think anybody's going to survive this onslaught of uh, penis monsters in their phallic armpits? I think
Yeah.
maybe. The other thing that's interesting in a lot of disease movies, usually like there's something that saves them at the end, like the bitter cold. You know what I mean? Like how cold it is and the virus can't move.
Sometimes, yeah.
Not
Hmm.
here. They're like, it's fucking snowing, eh? So like, it doesn't stop it.
No, it was sort of disturbing the way that it just like blossomed out of nowhere. Because you see my favorite lady on the subway, she's just out there spreading it in public, random, and she loves it.
I like what Gene
She's
said. After seeing this, I'd never trust a random clinic up county in Canada. Yeah, exactly. Don't
yeah,
wreck
but
your bike.
that was the worst part, Gene, is she didn't even get to choose that. She was unconscious after the accident, and she didn't consent to any of this stuff that they did to her. I think she has a real case.
Yeah,
Well, she's dead now, so she
yeah.
doesn't have any case, but
Everybody
it,
made mistakes the whole way.
yeah, it was a
Maybe
real shit show.
I blame that vacationing family if they just kept the station wagon. This would have never happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I never thought about that. It really was their fault. That
yeah.
was a dumb thing to do.
I would just leave in the middle of the road, and that dumb kid's like,
That was a real dumb thing to do. And they just
yeah,
seemed kind of like nonchalant. She kept trying to like pull him off of her when he was trying to put out the flames on the
yeah.
bike. She's like, "Get away from there." Like, what the fuck,
You're
lady? She's
already
pinned
getting
under.
sued. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah.
she's pinned under a burning motorcycle. Like, they couldn't have lifted at least one side of it and gotten it off of her. I don't know. There had to have been like both of them should have run over there and tried to do that.
I want to
Maybe
make
that's asking for too much.
I want to make the movie of the rest of that family's trip where they just go to like a water park, and they hear like a random story at some point that there's something crazy going on in town, but they're like, well, we're so far away, and like Moose Knuckle at a Grand Wolf
Most
Lodge,
natural.
yeah, at a Grand Wolf Lodge, and we're all just enjoying the water park, eh? So like that's just it. It's just like a crazy, fun vacation like adventure of these side characters from Rabid.
Isn't a moose knuckle a male camel toe?
It could be, yeah. There's also
I think
there's that moose jaw. I don't know. They're all the same.
moose knuckle, I think, is the male counterpart to a camel
Oh,
toe. When you can see it on the outside
they
of your
all go to
clothes.
the Stampede in Calgary, maybe instead of going to Moose Knuckle. They're all going. We're all going to the Stampede.
You really shouldn't be able to just see it. Although, like, I see guys every day now because I
Yeah,
work downtown.
yeah.
I can't believe the number of guys I see walking around, and you can totally like see their dick through their pants.
Is
I'm
her
like,
pants
dude,
getting
don't you
tighter?
know that?
Her pants
What?
getting tighter? Is that what it is?
No, it's just like these guys walking around in sweats.
Oh, okay.
They don't care.
I've never. I don't. It must be a big dick thing. I don't
It's
know.
a thing. Like
Yeah,
I see it all the time now, and I never used to.
yeah.
Maybe I just started noticing it.
Maybe it's like.
Been there all along.
Yeah, maybe it's like like I never noticed this thing about people before. Oh, there it is. Interesting. I mean, I don't know if I'll notice it. I'll report back in next week. Have I seen this?
I don't know. Like, if there's this one guy I see all the time downtown,
Maybe
and
he's
he looks
fluffing
like
it up because he sees you all the time.
no. I mean, like I've seen him 2 times,
Okay.
and he looks like he's on meth or something. He's like
Oh,
super lean, and he walks around with no shirt, super tight sweatpants on, and like it's like porn star level. And you can
uh,
totally see it right there. I'm like, this guy has to know this. Like he's walking around. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's a little bit pushing it, I think, in terms of what you can show legally in public.
yeah. Well,
It's just weird. It's like
I
a
never
body
leave my house,
snatchers
so I
thing
don't see
happening.
a lot of strange dick. So,
Yeah,
or
you don't get out enough.
I don't get
You
out
are
at all.
totally isolated from crazies where
I
you
am.
are. I see
Well,
crazies every day.
I might walk through my neighborhood and get to see a lot of great signage and flags. So that really helps me really feel
Yeah.
secure. Yeah. But I tell you what, though, a lot of people said like, this reminds me of the pandemic. Riding out the pandemic in Monongahela was easy. Like everywhere else, they were like, you couldn't find tests. Monongahela, there are tests everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, no, there was no problem finding anything. Move to a Republican area if you want tests and you get everything you want. It worked out real well. Anywho, uh, I did grab it. I've never seen the remake, nor do I want to. How about that? I'm pretty cool with just living as if it never happened because I like this one a lot. It could be great, but I'm going to tell you that it's not. Probably.
I'm
Have you
just not
seen it?
interested in it.
No. I don't know. I have so many other movies to get to. I have so many USA Up All Night movies to get to. I would get much more out of Bikini Bikini Miracle that I watched last night. A genie movie about bikinis. I got so much more out of that than I probably would out of the Rabid sequel. I'm an easy going person.
Thanks for stopping by, Dave Burrian. I hope you found that conversation scintillating.
Bill, I will match that for the guy side, right? When I was young, like I never watching USA Up All Night, I was always like, because I mostly dated like, goth or uh metal girls, and like I was always like, I don't like these beach movies. Nothing in here means anything to me. For some reason, like I had this like ancestral memory of big hair and 80s fashions, and I'm like, this is pretty great. I kind of like this. This works. And only took like 30 years after the movies were actually made, so feels good. Uh, I gotta tell you, a lot of these movies may not be great, but I'm really enjoying them. Especially the goofier and stupider the comedies, probably the more I'm liking them. Especially Mike Justice and I have talked about. There's episodes that on YouTube and Internet Archive that have all the commercials, and like Dialing for Dingbats is a weird movie to watch because it's a whole movie about phone sex ads, and then there's the real phone sex ads in the breaks, so it really kind of fucks you up. You're like, well, which of these ads are real and which ones aren't? And I literally know the complete ad spiels to every commercial that's on these. Do you know what I mean? So it's really wild. So
I remember all those commercials too.
it's like at once very happy to go back in time and look at these, but it's also very very depressing. You know what I mean? Because like I kind of am thinking back to like when the last time I saw this complete package. Do you know what I mean? Of USA Up All Night with commercials, I was probably 17 or 18, 19, and I had a whole world ahead of me. Now I'm closer to the finish than the beginning. So, but maybe that's good. Maybe I have some perspective. No.
Do you remember the local chat line ads?
Yep. That's
Like
actually how I met my first wife, and I don't like to admit that. But yeah,
for the party line?
the party 434-5000 was the 412-434-5000 was the number.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. Yep. That's where we met. I don't recommend these party lines, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, there was that,
Oh,
and you know
absolutely
what?
not.
I was singing the date night TV song the other day. If you are not from Pittsburgh, um, after Saturday Night Live, Chris just brought it up. Date night TV, and I actually gave a bunch of. I had a lot of them on tape, and I gave the tapes to the Found Footage Fest guys. They're going to show some of them next time they're in Pittsburgh, because like they were all filmed at Chauncey's and a lot of the nightclubs in Pittsburgh. But the amazing thing about date night TV
Chauncey's.
and Whiskey Dicks, a lot
Chauncey's. You had me at Chauncey's.
of those shows re-aired for like 3 years or more after they were after they were done, and they would literally the phone line wasn't up anymore, and they would just black out the phone line and say, please don't call, this line no longer works. But like, did they not have a half an hour of programming after Saturday Night Live for years, and they would just keep re-airing these yinzers at Chauncey's all yelling? Yeah, Donzi's having like a lot of these places.
Donzi's.
Yeah, we're down at Donzi's, and this is Carol, and it'd be some girl with a giant hair class. She'd be like, there ain't no good guys in Pittsburgh. And yeah, that was date night TV. Pick up the phone.
That was where you went to dance to Billy Ocean.
Oh,
like
man.
Donzies and
Gonzi's.
Chauncey's.
Oh, man. What was the
If
one
you
in
were
Station
really into
Square?
Billy Ocean, that was the place.
Was
That was
Chauncey's was
Chauncey's.
in Station Square because when I worked at my first ad agency, it was above it, and we'd be there obviously all night till 3 or 4 in the morning working, and Chauncey's would just be all bass, and it would just shake the whole building, and I'm like, I just want to go home, and all I could hear was Chauncey's. Uh,
I'm sure that was scintillating.
it was scintillating. My favorite was obviously, I know Gene's in chat. Metropole and Rosebud was. It's sad going past those places now that they're knocked down.
Yeah, they're gone.
And they're gone. Yeah, on the strip and what was it in the strip and on the edge. My other favorite dumb bar of all time, Pittsburgh, was Area 51, which had like lizards and aliens like molded in there. There was that. Remember that place in the strip? That wasn't only there for like 6
I
months.
just keep I always think back to those days when there were like nights, 3 or 4 nights of the week I would go out,
Wow.
and it was every week. Like there was like on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
It was a Wednesday night. You're like, oh, Wednesday's a really big night at the Eagle, so you'd go to
Yeah.
the Eagle on Wednesdays, and like when you got bored at the Eagle, you could bounce back and forth between that and Jazzy's on the north side,
Yeah. I
in the
just went
old
to
Buell
D's.
Mansion.
D's has always been the bar that I've gone to.
D's.
That's actually where I met Becca. So we met at D's. So
So we're coming from two different worlds here, Sam.
it's okay.
But
I've been
Metropole
to I've
was.
been to some of these places. I've been to Lucky's and I've been
Oh,
to
I know. There
yeah
was always a lot of crossover at
yeah.
the bars. Like it was never a complete. It was
There
always a
used to
little
be
bit
another
mixed
gay
crowd.
bar up right before you get to Bloomfield on the left hand side like between Bloomfield and Lawrenceville.
Oh, that was Oh my God, what was the name of that place? It's somebody's name.
Yeah, it was like a
It was in
guy's
Heron
name.
Avenue.
What was it?
hmm It was on Heron Avenue.
Yeah, I got a lot of drinks free the times I
The
went.
basement was called. The basement was called Leather Central.
Oh wow, I didn't get to the basement.
It was like the local leather culture. It was their bar, Leather Central. But the upstairs had another name. God, I feel so old now. I can't remember these
Yeah,
places. But that was just really bizarre that I think back to places like Metropole. Metropole was on Thursdays.
yeah.
That was always really big on Thursday nights. And then Friday and Saturday was the Eagle.
We were
Those
talking
are the
about
big
we
nights.
saw the folk musician Mary Lou Lord there. My friend Adam and I went, and we were literally there were 4 people at the whole place, and she's like, "Well, I'll just play any songs people want to hear." We were so embarrassed. We're like, "Okay." And she's like, was like literally like 1-to-1 talking to her, like, "Well, I guess you could do this song. We like this song."
How about the upstage?
Mm.
You had to have gone to the upstage a lot.
80s night, yeah, we went to 80s night there.
Oh, that was like the place where you went back when it was actual like the 80s goth thing.
Yep,
Like not quite goth, but sort of like
whatever it was,
alternative
nascent.
pop.
Yeah,
Wear a lot of black and sometimes you wear eyeliner and you're a
a lot
dude.
of
That
punch
was that
dancing.
kind of music. The
I remember
upstage.
that there's one parking garage right down from there. And I remember that people would just be like blasting music out of their cars afterwards until they got kicked out. But yeah, we used to go to Thursday nights. I remember it's funny, one of the guys I worked with, his brother came with us one night at Upstage and on a Thursday at the 80s night. And we were like walking across the street and we were just talking to him. And like by the time we crossed the street, he had taken off his dress shirt and had just a net t-shirt on. We're like, I didn't realize you're one of those dudes that just wear like a net t-shirt. He didn't seem like that kind of person. Do you know what I mean? He seemed pretty normal. And all of a sudden he's like,
You never know.
and it totally like blew my mind. I was like, wow, that's cool. So yeah. I went my ex-wife used to go there a lot. So I would kind of get dragged along. That was before I was drinking too, Bill. Those days. I'm like, what was I
Yeah,
doing?
I didn't drink either.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go out 3 or 4 nights a week. I never had one beer.
Wow. Yeah.
I just didn't drink. Look at me now.
Yeah. Well, David, I'm jealous of Mary Lou Lord and Elliott Smith. She has a new box set out. She can't sing anymore because she has the same thing that DMC has from Run DMC, the spastic or whatever it is, throat vocal
Oh
cord thing.
no.
Yeah, but I really like her records a lot. Mike's been to Metropole, but not the Metropole we've been to. The one where they shot the apple and a bunch of demons came in. That Metropole.
Oh, I love that Metropole.
Yeah. You know what though? Metropole was one of the few clubs in Pittsburgh that I felt like it was as close as I was going to get to The Crow, right? Like with the metal like edges and stuff. That was pretty rad.
It did look like that place. What was it
Yeah,
called? Trash?
trash. We're Top Dollars Club, where after the
Right.
flesh gets blasted out. The last show I saw there was a Chicago black metal band, not Mystium, and they were there with Cradle of Filth, and all of the power went out, and it was like one of those nights. It was during that polar vortex a couple years ago, and man, it was crazy. Oh, the underage club in Penn Hills is
City
City
Limits.
Limits. Yeah, my all-time dream show. I didn't get to see. Sam Hain played City Limits, but I saw Guar twice. My parents
Guar
drove me
played
to
there.
Guar when I was 15, um, by myself. No one else would go, and pick me up afterwards. And I was covered in blood in the middle of December. And my dad was just like, "Well, I hope you had a good time." I did. I had wonderful.
Covered in actual blood or
No, the
Guar
fake,
blood?
all the stuff they have. I got hit with a hammer that squirted blood out.
You
Uh,
never
the,
know with you, Sam
the
Panico. The
other,
blood's usually
yeah,
yours.
the other concert that played there I missed was Voivod, Faith No More, and Soundgarden, which pretty, louder than Love Soundgarden, so it was pretty sweet. So yeah, I saw Gore twice there, and the second time they played there, they ruined the ceiling by spraying blood, and then they played Sandcastle after the stage at Sandcastle. How the fuck did that happen? And I heard that one of the pools that they were in was just like covered in blood, uh, and it was a big problem. So booking Guar was always you were going to get a mess. So
Well, at least you knew what to expect.
yeah, exactly. It's funny because the only place open to go to the bathroom back then, 'cause it was over Christmas, was when Children's Palace was open until midnight. So we went there, so I go to the bathroom, and the manager thought I was in a wreck and helped carry me to the bathroom, and I was like, "I'm fine." He's like, "You, I think you were in a car wreck or something." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So yeah, I wish I could have seen. I've never seen Voivod live. That's one of the many bands. I did not like Soundgarden post, like Ultra Mega OK. Soundgarden's really good. I think when they sound like Black Sabbath, and Chris Cornell didn't know how to sing. That's when they're good. Then afterwards, he was like, "Oh, I'm a singer songwriter." No, you're not. Just scream, do it. Anyway, my music things. Bill, what do we got up here? Some Lon Chaney.
I heard something on the comeback tonight that sounded a little like Black Sabbath.
Yeah, it did. I loved it.
I may have created that totally from scratch.
Oh,
But
I
yeah,
love
this
it.
is London After Midnight.
Oh wow.
I've started a new series in the Arizona area, Tucson and Phoenix to be exact. So I'll be starting with the 20s. I've already posted a couple of things, and one of them was this, which I totally love. I am in love with the idea of London After Midnight, but by all accounts, the movie actually didn't have a lot of horror stuff in it. It was mostly a detective drama.
Yeah, I've
So
never seen it.
I have seen Mark of the Vampire, which is
Yeah.
the remake with Bela Lugosi, but I think they kind of like vamped it up a little for that.
Yeah. It's a
But
beautiful ad.
still, I know it's so cool. His makeup is just still so chilling, and for
I love
something that
Man of a Thousand Faces. I have the Arrow set of it, and it's really nice.
just stunning.
Yeah.
And this was all shit that he made himself. You
Yeah.
know,
I
this is
always
that's
think
what's
about how he did his teeth, where he put wires in his mouth to hold his gum.
yeah.
Like it was incredibly painful stuff that he was doing.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. Like he had those wires in his eye sockets to make them all sunken
Yeah.
when he was the Phantom.
Yeah.
Sorry, you gush about Lon Chaney.
No,
Well,
please. Oh, I love this ad, especially the edges, the Fox logo, everything about this ad is gorgeous.
and that Art Deco font that sort of
Yeah.
matches the look of the film.
Especially the way the K looks, it almost looks like, I know it is hand done, but it almost looks like brushwork where the swoop of the K. I really love that. I've been trying to
Yeah,
do that and type it. Using brushes to do a lot of type lately, just on my own stuff. I
yeah.
like
This
the
is a
Black
great
Sabbath.
movie.
Yeah, I really like that movie. I like the cooled by refrigeration over top of Fox too. That's really neat.
Oh, they were so into that.
Yeah.
The building being refrigerated.
I think the other
What's
nice thing about a lot of these older ads too is there's a lot more text to kind of explain them to you. And I know you posted some of those ones that were almost like hand drawn and had like call outs and stuff on them. I think those were from
yeah,
Pittsburgh before. Yeah.
the
Wow.
monster talks.
I love Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I took Bride of Frankenstein for granted for so many years.
Yeah.
All the Universal stuff, actually, because I don't know. I just grew up being obsessed with it as a kid, and I never
Yeah.
thought of it again as an adult until maybe like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was watching Bride of Frankenstein at Halloween, and I had a nice fixed up DVD of it at the time. It was those old sets that came out from Universal. I
I
got a
have all
couple of
those
those.
Universal sets that have like the hologram covers. I
Yeah,
got them for like $4 for each. And I
they're
was like,
so
you know
pretty,
what?
aren't they?
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? It's really nice to have them because even though, yeah, they're not Blu-ray, but it's like to have all those movies and at any time you're like, I'd like to watch all the Invisible Mans or, I have the Abbott and Costello sets too. It's just like those movies are so much a part of my childhood that it's nice to have them down there and I can watch them at any time.
Anyway, I never upgraded to Blu-ray yet.
Me either, but I want to watch all the Frankensteins this year. That's a goal. Oh man, that is great.
These guys were always lit from below, which
Yeah,
I totally can relate to.
I love
I think
Karloff.
it's I love the way it I just love the way it looks.
Yeah, it's really amazing how many movies Karloff did too. It was like he was busy.
Yeah, he worked a lot.
Yeah,
And he was all messed up from wearing all that monster shit in Frankenstein
yeah.
too. It messed up his back.
It's amazing. He had like multiple kind of resurgences too, with like arsenic and old lace. Because he was in the stage version,
Hmm.
and and then but he made movies literally up until when he died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He went to Mexico and made some.
yeah. Well, his stuff shot in Los Angeles, and but yeah, I love those
I thought
movies.
he got sick in Mexico.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. He did. Then he did one or two other ones that weren't in Mexico near the end.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love those movies though. Like Isle of the Snake People is a favorite.
There's that strange The Monster Talks panel. It reminds me of To Avoid Fainting, Keep Repeating. It's only
Yeah,
a movie.
that
It's
had to be
only a
such a big
movie.
deal to people though that the monster talks with them. Like people, you know what I mean? Like it's funny because we don't think about it today because like you said, you take these for granted. But like when they were out, they were the most shocking movies that were on screens. Like they were really horrifying to people.
Yeah. Well, people, they weren't desensitized to
Yeah,
seeing that kind of shocking thing on the screen.
yeah.
I'm not saying that in a bad way, but
Do you
this
think there
was
were
really,
hipsters that were like, "Well, I saw Unchana do, so whatever." And you're like, nobody's really seen that. I've seen this 20s silent short. And people are like, "Okay, well, we're gonna go watch Bride of Frankenstein."
when people started actually seeing movies projected on a big screen, every once in a while, like, a lot of the things that they would show would just be films of trains,
Yeah,
and people would scream when the locomotive can't look like it was going to run right over them.
there was I don't know if you watched What We Do in the Shadows, but one of the characters mentioned that when he went to the movies, he said, "I haven't been to the movies since they used to show the trains on the walls, and we all ran in terror." Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I guess that's it.
You want to see what came in the mail, and we'll do this giveaway.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, this week this is from MVD, and I have not watched it yet. It's called Sabura. It is an action kind of crime movie. So excited about that. It's got some good reviews on it. And what do we got here? We got I love Kino's art for these. This is Malone, the Burt Reynolds movie. They really made it look way more exciting than it is.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, right? You're like, fuck. Yeah, it looks good.
It's
That's it.
like those the Edwidge Fennick cover. They're coming to get you.
Yeah. We
What movie
we
is that?
and then I actually bought this one, Delirium, the Pacelli movie, which I love. It's from Vinegar Syndrome, and it has an interview with actual interview with him, an archival one, interview with his daughter about his career. And if you like Renato Pacelli, maybe you'll like the new Driving Asylum. Maybe we'll see.
Maybe it
Maybe
is coming. It is coming.
it is coming, so we'll see. And finally, we got this great giveaway. We got Gangnam Zombie, which is from our friends at Wellgo USA. There's also a couple other Blu-rays coming out that they told me that they're going to be sending to us for the show. So there you go. If you guys would like to enter, and probably tonight, if I get any higher, I'll probably order Black Magic rights from Indicator. I've been putting it off all week, and I'm like, do I need it? And I'm like, yeah, fuck, you need it. It's fucking Black Magic rights. AKA Reincarnation of Isabel. I kind of need that, right, Bill?
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. Come on.
What you need is more movies to watch.
I do. Hey, exciting news though. I told Bill, but I got into Fantastic. Not that I have a movie in it, but I am got authorized to review movies for Fantastic Fest this year. So super excited. So look for way too many movies, but I'm very very excited about Fantastic Fest this year because there's so much good shit in it this year, and you don't get, I'm doing the home one, so you don't get everything, but you get quite a nice amount of stuff. And I'm trying to remember there's what the keynote movie is this year.
Where do you go if you're not doing it from home?
You go to Austin to the draft house. I'm sure David will be going to some of the films from it. But the new Toxic Avenger movie is going to debut there though, which is kind of cool, right? With Peter Dinklage in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be kind of fun. And
That sounds right up your alley.
yeah, and then the new Follow the House of Usher, Mike Flanagan show from Netflix is going to debut. And there's a new season of Alex de Iglesias' series 30 Coins. Plus, he has a new movie that's debuting, which is super, super exciting. He's one of my favorite writers. And a new VHS. If you've seen that series of movies from Shudder, there's a new one that's going to debut. So pretty cool.
Wow, I'm one behind on the VHS.
I actually really like the last two a lot. Like they're fun. They're not like, oh, these are the greatest movies ever, but I've really enjoyed them. So Bill, I am going to load up the wheel. So can you tell me
Yes.
who would like to be in?
Okay. Let's see. Paul's in. Paul Workmeister. Jeff Drake. He's in. Let's see. Paul Doliner's in. Looks like only these three guys.
Yeah, well, if you'd like to win, Tim, George, and Chris, and James.
Oh yeah, Jim Drummond's in. Lee.
You related to Bill Drummond?
No.
But what
At
if
least
like,
not that I'm aware of,
Bill
James.
Drummond's my brother, and I'm like, oh man, right? Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be.
Everybody's like, who's that? Bill and I talk about KLF a lot. Okay, so
Mike Justice is in. Did you get him?
let me see. I'm leaving Paul in because if Paul wins, I can just hand him his at the drive-in. So I'm gonna.
Once you're in, Paul.
Yeah. So I got Paul Workmeister, Jeff Drake, Paul Doliner, Jim Drummond, Tim Dortch, Lee, Chris, Mike Justice.
All right.
Anybody else? Am I missing anyone? We're going to give it one more minute. and then we'll spin the wheel. My favorite part of Fantastic Fest is they always have the 100 ways to die, and they do clips of different ways people die. A couple years ago, they did 100 best decapitations, and it was awesome. And it's fun because they don't list the names of the movies, so you have to kind of guess what they are. So it kind of pushed me out to kind of learn movies like Deadline, which I'd never seen. And I really, last year was 100 best castrations, which maybe not as much fun as decapitation. A little harder to watch.
Well, neither one sounds amazing, but
yeah. Dave says, "I like this part, but someone else can win." Oh, come on, Dave. What are you losing out on? You could win Gangnam Zombie.
I think everybody's in that wants to be.
Everybody's in. Okay, Bill, I am going to share. Let me get this working here. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, here it comes. There we go.
All right. Without further ado.
Oh.
Paul, please send me a message on Facebook with your address. We'll get this out to you this week. Real people win. And let me know.
Sorry, Jim Drummond. That was just by a hairbreadth.
Yeah.
What's that sound?
I switched my microphone. I don't know why.
Oh, your voice got all robot all of a sudden.
Yeah, now it's back.
Okay, there we go.
Up. I don't know what happened.
So.
So. I
feel like I was robbed of my ability to gush some more about Rabid. But
oh no, I don't mean. I'm
totally
sorry.
Forgotten about Rabid. Oh, I don't know. The show just sort of drifted away. So there was one thing that I
wanted. Let's talk about it.
No, it's okay. I've already.
No, I want to hear. I want to hear you gush.
I probably already said everything that I wanted to say anyway.
But I want you to, though. I want.
There were some other creative shots in that film that I wanted to bring up. One was when he set up the guy that was the truck driver that came out from between that narrow gap in the crates. I thought that was really creepy.
Yeah.
The mean boss walks in there to confront him, and you know that the guy's a zombie now because Marilyn Chambers, he gave her a hoagie and she didn't like it.
Who doesn't like a hoagie, though?
I don't know, whatever that was that he gave her. It looked like a beefsteak hoagie.
It was back bacon.
That whole sequence where Marilyn Chambers tries to escape from her friend's apartment without her hearing, that's imaginatively staged, because he keeps cutting back and forth between like where the friend is and where Marilyn Chambers is.
Yeah.
I thought that was
really bad cool. For the friend.
I know. She just wanted to be a nice woman.
Yeah. Do you think she was in love with Marilyn Chambers?
No.
No?
Well, I don't know. How could you not be in love with Marilyn Chambers?
I mean, I love her, so I have nothing,
There was another sequence too. Oh God. Well, I mentioned the mall Santa rampage, which is really scary. Oh, the buildup that he gives to the character, the doctor, Dr. Kelloyd, how he's in the back of the paddy wagon and he's a total rabid zombie at this point. They don't really tell you that that's what this guy's going to see when he walks back there, and the camera just follows him outside of the building to that paddy wagon. And then all of a sudden he walks up to the window and the guy's like, ugh.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was that's a really awesome part of the movie for me.
Yeah, I like when he disappears. Does my mic still work?
Oh, you sound like a hairdryer now.
Losing my mic. Hold on.
There we go. Oh, now it's gone. It sounds like you're running your beard trimmer.
Yeah, I don't like it. Is that
Oh,
working now?
yeah, now it's back.
Okay, good.
Strange things are
Okay,
starting to happen.
yeah, I know. Sorry. Did Marilyn Chambers do anything interesting after this? Yeah, Angel of Heat. She's in, which is pretty good. Well, it's not good. It's like a James Bond movie, and it should be much better. But it's exciting that she's in it, and the first part of it's really cool because she has like a Doc Savage style origin, and you're like, man, I really want this movie to be as good as the first 5 minutes, and it's really not, unfortunately. Um, her career is very much a to mainstream, back to adult, back to mainstream kind of thing. She was involved in politics. But after this, she basically did adult again. She did Insatiable in 1980, and Electric Blue in 82, Up and Coming, Insatiable 2. And then she really got into doing a lot of the, Cinemax After Dark movies like Bedtime Fantasies. She plays herself in, and they're softcore. And then back to adult
Yeah.
again, 99 and 2000.
Well, she sort of she had a TV show, a TV series.
Uh-huh.
Wasn't she on the USA Network as well?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I feel like she had some sort of non-adult but racy
Yeah.
nighttime program.
She did a lot of you could see her a lot on a lot of Cinemax stuff. I remember when Insatiable, as I saw Mike said, was a huge movie for that time. She was also one of the first adult actresses to embrace, she even up until the 2000s, like interracial scenes were taboo for a lot of actresses, and she did them in her first movie. So she was very groundbreaking in a lot of ways. I'm looking up what else she was in. She's in, yeah, she did a lot of stuff like Marilyn Chambers' Desires, Dark Chambers. These are like fantasies. These are all the non-adult ones. She did a TV series called Women of the House that she appeared on. It was a Delta Burke show. That's crazy. She's in the Maryland Diaries. That's another USA Up All Night movie. She's in Imps.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah. She's also, you know what her first movie was, Bill?
Yes.
The Owl and the Pussycat.
How old was she?
20, 1920. Yeah, so she was pretty young. But I really think.
Well, she was smart too. She negotiated a great salary. Well, she negotiated her payment for doing Behind the Green Door with the Mitchell brothers, where she got a percent of the box office, and she got, a lot of money, as opposed to a lot of actresses who probably would have just been paid a flat fee of a couple $1,000s, and then there'd be these people making money off of her for as long as they could. But not her. I mean, she got a nice paycheck from that.
The Mitchell brothers are fascinating because they were at one point going to make all of the Bible into adult movies. They kind of went a little nuts. One of them already went nuts, but it's amazing the films they were doing for their time. The whole era of porn chic is fascinating to me, that these major movies were happening that are, if you watch now, like Barbara Broadcast opening of Misty Beethoven. I'm just naming Radley Matchsticker movies, but a lot of these movies from that time, they have the same quality as or better than a lot of the exploitation movies that were out at the time. The same thing too. It's weird because they kind of pushed out where exploitation became more horror driven until post Animal House. Because why did you? Do you know what I mean? Why did you need to make nudie cuties when you could see everything you wanted to see?
Sure, yeah. They were just, finding a new way to deal with it.
Yeah. But then once
new angle.
Once Animal House and Porky's happened, they're like, oh, here's a whole other market, plus cable and VHS became big. So I'm always fascinated by you must be 18 to rent these movies, but they're not porn movies that were in your video store. where it's kind of like, well, these are in the front of the house, so I can still rent them and not feel scummy. Not like my video store where we had to pick up the book bill and, as I've said before, and say out loud,
I love the
the
book.
book. I wish I had a picture of the book. It was so big because they would literally just put the covers, like the paper box covers, and put them into the book, and you would just go through
Oh
it.
wow.
Yeah.
I guess that's what my local video store did too. It was B&D Records in Springdale.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jim Drummond knows what I'm talking about. There was a big book that they had all the adult titles that you could rent, the X movies, as he tried to respectably refer to them as.
And they kind of
X
had
movies?
the book in like a section of the counter that was difficult to get to, but not insurmountable, right? So if somebody was looking through the book, they were still out in front of people. And my hometown was what, like 3,000 or 4,000 people, so maybe less.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you were looking at the book, you were really brave. Like I was always like kind of shocked that people, unless people just said, just give me, I think probably at that time, like, just give me 3 movies, right? Like just like I don't care, whatever.
Is that what you did?
I've never, from my hometown video store, never rented anything at a book. I told the story about my first time, right, on this.
I think so, but refresh our memory.
And so when I lived in Oakland off Semple Street, there used to be a video store, Oakland Video, that was on Boulevard of the Allies, only open for a couple of years. And this is like 91, and first time not living in like a dorm, but living in an apartment. And it was pretty amazing because like I was like, wow, like I had always wanted to see the Dark Brothers. Like that was like my obsession with seeing it. And so I went in the store and they had all their movies. So I got 2 of them, and like you got the tag. Remember the stores that had the tag? And when I went back to get them, there was a guy my age working the counter. That's who ran the store. He was a Pitt student. I didn't realize that when he went to class, his grandmother ran the store. So when I came back out with the tags, she's like, "New Wave hookers, what is wrong with you?" And I got huge, what do you call it? The first 2 were New Wave Hookers 2 and Alex Terenzi's Curse of the Catwoman, 2 movies that I would definitely recommend from like the kind of end of the, not golden age, but the better VHS era before everything went non-story. They're both pretty good. Curse of the Catwoman is cat people. It's the same fucking movie, but with Rocco Siffredi in it. And Raven, a big favorite back then. There, I'm really outing myself with the names that I'm using. But
now this record exists forever.
It does. This is why what was I referred to by Grindhouse releasing an affable pervert. So I'm just only just going through but it was very embarrassing because it was literally the nightmare of like someone's going to yell at me for any of these, much less an old woman,
sure,
a grandmotherly, kind-looking woman screaming at me about my perversion. I was like, never renting here again. So yeah, and back then you couldn't buy them. It wasn't like it's a totally different world. They got the book.
Well, you couldn't get it for free, which is what you do.
Yeah, I know, right?
Most of the time, there's a lot out there that you could just get for free, just on the internet.
Yeah, but yeah, the tags were in that store. It's funny. I just went past there, and I think there's a Subway in there now. It's amazing. Whenever where video stores are in your town. My hometown, it was under a bridge, Primetime Video, and I just went past it last weekend, and I still have that rush of excitement that I would get. It's like this Pavlovian reaction toward getting close to that video store. Do you know what I mean? That I'm about to go in and rent something, and it's not there anymore. They're selling the building that the Hollywood Video was at in my town. Not Hollywood. It was Family Video was at in my town, Bill. And my brother's like, you should just buy it and put all your DVDs in there. But
he's not wrong.
No, I don't have. That's the thing. It's funny, and I'm sure most people here in the chat are going to agree. It's like everybody at work the other day was talking about how much I miss Blockbuster, and I was like, well, that's like past, I think, the era that a lot of us like Blockbusters. Fine, whatever, but like they had already the mom and pop kind of stores. Those are the ones that we kind of remember, or like even like spinner racks at 7-Elevens and Unimarts. Like those are the kind of stores that I love.
It was new, so it was special. This was a new way that we were finding to enjoy movies.
And it was so nice because there was a lot of movies that you read about in Fangoria that
maybe never played a theater near you, or as you and I have talked about, you couldn't find
Absolutely.
anyone to take you. So now it became a little more democratic, and you were
Yeah.
able, we didn't get a Blockbuster till well after I left my hometown. I think we got one in '96. I left town in '90 for college, and there wasn't any. Was there a video? There was a video store downtown, wasn't there, Bill? A rental store?
Oh, there were a
Were
couple.
there? Oh, okay.
There was one right by Warner Center.
Ah, okay.
That was the big one. And when I went to Point Park College, that's where the one I was joined to.
Oh, yeah.
There
Incredibly
was one on
Strange,
Liberty
obviously,
too.
was super important to all of us if you lived in Pittsburgh in that era. And there was one in Northside over by Stedford's too, I remember, down by where the pawn shop is.
I probably went in that place too.
I know I
Like
rented.
after I moved to the north side.
I rented Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Ballorama there. I do know. That's one of the movies I remember renting from there.
Well, I'm talking about like the golden days, when I first started renting movies in 1985 and 1986. It was this place called Act One Video in Cheswick. That was the one. I don't know why I didn't rent from B&D Records. I think because they wouldn't rent R-rated movies to me there, but Act One always rented R-rated movies, and I was like 15. So they were pretty cool about that.
We had Primetime Video and Hollywood Video, not the chain. There was another one up the street. Primetime had way more horror. And then pre-Eagle Video, there was College Hill Video and our Giant Eagle that just had spinners. And then one day they had created Eagle Video and Eagle Video, if you were in Pittsburgh.
Eagle Video.
Eagle Video. And Farmore had a really awesome.
Farmore. I was just about to say Farmore. I rented a lot of stuff from Farmore.
Farmore had a huge rental section, especially like the one on 51 did. It was a really awesome. Like I lived too far away to use it. Do you know what I mean? But like, yeah, I loved it. It's I've seen a couple TV commercials that people posted online for their local video stores too, and just seeing the camera go across those the horror section and stuff is man.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's both in the same way as the USA Up All Night things are. It's heartwarming but also sad, right?
This might sound stupid, but I can remember the day that I picked up that big box of the Dead Pit that had the flashing eyes, and you press the button.
Oh yeah,
and the eyes would flash. And then there was the Frankenhooker talking VHS box.
There's bleeders too that had the blood in the package, like a meat package. I remember that one too. That was a big one. I would always show my mom the horror movies I wanted, and she would say, "That's disgusting," and we wouldn't get it. So thank God for Primetime, which rented 14-year-old me blood-sucking freaks and changed my life. Thank you for not caring and warping me. I miss it. Bill, do you want to know some of the USA Up All Night films that are on the site this week?
Yeah.
We got Return to Horror High, no relation. Getting Lucky, New York's Finest, The Vals, the VAL, not Vowels. Witch Academy, Dialing for Dingbats. Hot Chili, a canon movie. All the Vice Academy movies. The Girl I Want, Angel 4, yay. Cat People, Ellie, State Park, Cave Girl, Abducted, Pretty Smart, Bikini Beach Race, Pinball Summer, California Hot Wax, Fraternity Demon, which uses a lot of footage from Getting Lucky. Girl That I Want uses footage from it. Hot Times at Montclair High, horrible, and both House movies. So a lot of absolute junk this week. Dig on in, going all the way too, which I loved. I'm easy. I love the Vice Academy movies a lot. So it's funny. The Girl That I Want, Bill, is the most science fiction-y movie I've ever seen because it's about this young girl who wants to be popular. So she gets the two toughest girls in the school. One of them is Linnea Quigley, to teach her how to kind of slut it up. And Elizabeth Kaitan is the girl who's too mousy. So like if you live in a universe where Elizabeth Kaitan is the mousy girl, like what the fuck is going on in this universe? You know what I mean? Like this is very strange. So I kind of love those movies, and it has pretty good heart. to it. So I found a weakness for Chuck Vincent's movies over the last couple of weeks. His movies are really fun. But yeah, it's been nice catching up with these. And then next month, I'm doing 3 different film challenges plus Chiller Theater month. So movies that were on Chiller Theater will be on the site next month. So I'm excited about that. But you know what I'm most excited about, Bill?
What's that?
Going to the drive-in.
Yes.
2 weeks. This time, and think about this, in 2 weeks from right now, you and I are going to be at the drive-in together watching movies. And it's probably going to be raining. But we'll be at the drive-in, and it's going to be great.
By this time, we'll be in separate cars because it's
We
3
will,
o'clock in
but
the morning.
But and you know what? I'll be thinking, should I go get a Chili Willy? I probably should. You know?
Oh, it's all fair game. I mean, you have up until the 4th movie starts.
I saw that they put out the menu too this week for some of their films. Mike mentioned that Hot Times at Montclair High is unwatchable. I watched Rebel High today for one of the USA Up All Night movies. I'm not bragging. Like, I can make it through some shitty movies. It was real fucking hard. Becca came in. She's like, how are you even able to watch this movie? It's a movie based on a book about the American high school experience, and I decided to make a Porky's kind of movie out of the sociology book. It's not an easy watch, Bill. It's perhaps the hardest of watches. It needs, and the one I was watching didn't have Rhonda Shearer on it. I need like a Rhonda or Gilbert to get me through this movie. You know, like I can't just watch it cold. So not fun. But you know what? In the interest of science and movie watching, that's what it's there for, right?
Now you know what MST3K people are talking about when they say that.
Oh, yeah.
I can't watch this movie unless it's with MST3K.
I made it. It wasn't that bad, but yeah. Also, 2 new Tubi movies up on the site. My Twisted Marriage Therapist, my favorite title for a Tubi movie. It's about an Oprah-like lady that falls in love with women in her audience and brings them to her house and kills their husbands. It's pretty good.
Wow, based on a true story.
Yeah, and what I love about it is the guy who wrote it is like a professor of like film theory. And I read an interview with him. He's like, yeah, you know, sometimes these are the movies you get paid to make, and you just make them. I'm like, yeah, you did it. It's pretty fun. But yeah, I'm super excited, Bill. I still can't think of what movie I'm most excited for. There's so many movies to be excited for at the drive-in.
Well, you know which one I'm most excited about. It's
Impulse?
Well, close. It's right after Impulse.
What is it?
Oh, Sam. What's one of my most favorite movies in the whole world? And it was made for about $2, and the cast kind of looked like members of the Scooby-Doo gang.
I'm brain dead of what's playing at the drive-in.
Shriek of the Mutilated.
Oh, yeah, of course. Is it the popcorn Shriek of the Mutilated? I would assume, right?
It will be. Yeah, I think they got those rights issues squared away.
Oh. You got to get popcorn for the movie then. So you have it ready so you can eat to the beat. You know that there was a show in Youngstown called on the ABC affiliate 33 POW. It was like one of those video game shows where they would call kids up and kids would talk and it would activate the video game. It was like a Space Invaders game, and the kids would say POW and it would shoot lasers on the screen, and you won prizes. And they played cartoons in between it. Man, UHF affiliates would put anything on the air in the 80s, right?
Yeah, you saw all kind of weird shit.
Yeah.
But you know what I didn't see? There was no public access channel that I had on my cable system when I was young enough to care about that kind of stuff. I only found one later, and it was nothing really all that great.
We had what's the one in Northside that used PCTV?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was never anything awesome on there.
No, I always wanted. I don't know. Well, especially from seeing. I know it's different, but from seeing UHF, I was like, man, what if there was a channel like Weird Al's channel in real life? And you know, you would see all these other. When I watched Found Footage Festival, you see all these cool public access shows that were on other parts of the country. Pittsburgh never really had that.
Sam,
Yes.
next weekend on the program, we're going to
Mhm.
have Coma White and Justin Lockwood. We're going to watch 2 stunning Karen Black films, Mirror Mirror and Burnt Offerings.
I love Burnt Offerings. I love both these movies. Burnt Offerings, it's a movie I think, why don't more people talk about it these days? It's good.
Say it the right way, Sam. Burnt Offerings.
And I know that, I think you're excited about Oliver Reed being in it too, right?
I'm always excited about Oliver Reed.
I saw Mike Justice earlier said, and I didn't call it out, I would let Oliver Reed try to drown me in a pool. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah.
And I love how vulnerable he is in Burnt Offerings.
Yeah.
He's terrified of that weird chauffeur.
That chauffeur's fucking weird, though. The whole situation's weird, right?
Yeah. You know, I don't think it's revealing too much to say that in the original book there was an extraterrestrial explanation for what was
Really?
going on there.
Oh my god! Oh, I love
Mhm.
that. I love the commercial that just shows him jumping out the window scene, and that's right where it freezes. I remember seeing that TV commercial when I was a kid, and being like, "Whatever this movie is, it's nuts." Do you know what I mean? It feels like a longer episode of Night Gallery, which is a supreme compliment. That's what I like. Why I like it.
Yeah, it does seem like a TV movie to me, to be
But
honest.
that's a good thing, I think. I love
It's not a
TV.
bad thing, no, not at
No.
all. I can't picture watching this in a theater because, well, I've never seen it in a theater, but it just doesn't seem like a very cinematic film. I could be wrong. I don't know.
There's a lot of Oliver Reed fans in the chat, so it's exciting. You guys are gonna love it. You're gonna, if we were showing it live in a theater, we'd probably bring a kiddie pool out and splash around during the water scenes. We'll make it interactive. Maybe that'll be the movie I do from the pool, Bill. I promised all summer. Maybe I'll introduce that from the pool, and Becca will try to drown me.
This is yet again we're left with stories of how we're going to do a show from the pool.
Yeah, we need to do a show from the pool next year. Let's promise.
You've closed your pool.
No, I haven't closed it yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No, it's still open.
Oh, wow.
It's been like, it was 90 degrees last week. I've been in it. I get in it after I walk every day.
Good. Well, there's still hope.
Yeah, it's been so hot. Even today, even though it's like it's still muggy.
Yeah, it's really humid today, even though I think it only got up to like 75.
You know what I'm excited about for tomorrow? There's someone coming to work on we're working on our laundry room tomorrow again at 9 a.m. That's going to be awesome. What is it, like 3 now?
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Perfect. And you're going to stay up for another 2 hours anyway, writing.
You know it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes at night I say to myself, should I go to bed or don't people want to know about sex comedies from the 80s? And I say, this is my solemn duty to write long things about trauma movies that aren't really that good. Like The First Turn On. Why would I write that early in the morning? But whatever. It's needed. I feel like when I'm gone.
You're obsessed.
I'm obsessed.
Why.
I am obsessed with seeing all the movies, and I'm obsessed with learning about them and getting excited about it. Like someone mentioned the other day on my Facebook thing, I never realized Rowdy Harrington, the director of Striking Distance, Pittsburgh native, was one of the electricians on HOTS, HOTS. Who knew? Man.
Oh, and real quick, I have to mention my little tidbit about Hell Night.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching Hell Night this afternoon on Comet, and I happened to see the end credits, and the script supervisor on Hell Night was none other than Jenny Townsend, daughter of Bud Townsend, and who doubled for Linda Gillen in the boat swim scene in Terror House.
That's awesome.
She was still working in films. Well, I guess that wasn't that long afterwards.
What, 81?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think she was pretty young in 72, in her like maybe her early teens. But
one would say is it too soon to talk about 72?
It's never too soon to talk about 72. We hope you'll join us next weekend, where we'll talk about Mirror Mirror and Burnt Offerings with Coma White and Justin Lockwood on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. See you then.
See you guys.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.